Hi and welcome to this week's SSC Online Weekly Rewind episode. This week we have picked some really interesting legal stories from Supreme Court to High Courts, along with some important legislation updates. Also, stay tuned to know the winner of this week's SSC Online quiz. From the top stories of this week, in an important ruling on POCSO Act, a three-judge bench of the Supreme Court has set aside the Bombay High Court judgment that had acquitted the accused under Section 8 of the POCSO Act 2012 on the ground that no direct physical contact, that is skin to skin, with sexual intent without penetration would not amount to sexual assault. Bombay High Court's Nagpur bench had expressed that the act of pressing of the breast of the child aged 12 years in the absence of any specific detail as to whether the top was removed or whether he inserted his hand inside top and pressed her breast would not fall in the definition of sexual assault. The said judgment had caused a huge uproar in January 2021, especially since the shocking opinion had come from a women judge. When the matter reached before the Supreme Court, Justice Bela Trivedi, writing for herself, and Justice UU Lalit held that the most important ingredient for constituting the offence of sexual assault under Section 7 of the Act is the sexual intent and not the skin-to-skin contact with the child. Justice R. Ravindra Bhatt, in his concurring opinion, said that the reasoning in the High Court's judgment quite insensitively trivializes, indeed legitimizes, an entire range of unacceptable behavior which undermines a child's dignity and autonomy through unwanted intrusions. In a case where a death row convict subjected a 5-year-old girl to rape, killed her by strangulation, and then disposed of her body tied in a gunny bag into a stream, the three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, finding hope for reformation and rehabilitation of the appellant, commuted his death sentence to that of life imprisonment. The trial court had recorded that the death sentence was awarded on the ground that the crime was committed in an extremely diabolical manner and that it was cruel, barbaric, and revolting. The High Court has noted that there are no mitigating circumstances at all. While the court noted that the appellant has committed an abhorrent crime, it said that, considering the mitigating circumstances like his young age, weak socio-economic background, absence of any criminal antecedents, etc., there was hope for reformation, rehabilitation, and thus the option of imprisonment for life was certainly not foreclosed. In a case where the Gujarat High Court had quashed criminal proceedings at the behest of persons who were not named in the FIR purely on the basis of their names appearing in the draft charge sheet, the bench of Supreme Court has found it to be a clear abuse of High Court's jurisdiction under Section 482 of the CRPC. The court noticed that the High Court cannot place reliance on a draft charge sheet which is yet to be placed before the magistrate to quash the criminal proceedings under Section 482. The court said that the course followed by the High Court was unusual, if not extraordinary. Let's start with the High Court updates. In an important decision, the Kerala High Court has allowed swap kidney transplant between non-relatives, opining that law prescribing procedure for organ transplantation should satisfy the test of reasonableness, the court remarked, when Section 9, subsection 3 of the Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissues Act 1994 permits transplant of organs to persons being relative with the prior approval of the authorization committee, there is no logic or rationale to say that swap transaction will not be allowed when members of each pair are not near relatives, even if the authorization committee approves such transaction. We all know that maintenance is one of the most sought after topic, so let me brief you on that now. Discussing the law and territorial jurisdiction of courts to entertain a petition under section 125 CRPC, the Delhi High Court said that while deciding the matter of maintenance, it is important for the court to bear in mind that technicalities such as jurisdiction should not impede the object that is sought to be achieved by a provision such as section 125 CRPC, which is essentially a social welfare legislation. On facts, the court held that parents of the wife had two houses, one in Faridabad and another in Vasant Kunj. The territorial jurisdiction can be conferred in both Faridabad as well as Delhi. In another case, the Delhi High Court reversed the order of the family court which had granted maintenance to the wife under section 125 CRPC. The court noted that the petitioner husband and claimant wife both were already married to two other individuals when their alleged second marriage took place. It was held that second wife, whose marriage is void on account of survival of the first marriage, would not be a legally wedded wife and therefore would not be entitled to maintenance under this provision. I have an update on service law as well. The Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh High Court has held that in case of class 4 posts, higher qualification than the prescribed 10+2 may not be suitable for many reasons. The court reiterated that the suitability and qualifications for any post have to be let down by the employer and the same are not liable to be interfered with judicially until and unless the policy decision in that regard is found to be irrational and arbitrary. Let us now discuss a couple of judgments on arbitration law. Disposing of an application seeking the appointment of an independent arbitrator under Section 11 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, the Allahabad High Court held that if the arbitrator had been rendered functus officio, there existed no occasion to invoke the provisions of Section 14 and 15 of the Act for appointing a substitute arbitrator. In another case, the Uttaranchal High Court emphasized on the purpose and object of Section 9 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 and held that a person not a party to an arbitration cannot invoke jurisdiction of the court for interim relief under Section 9. The court added that Section 9 was enacted with the intention of preserving and protecting the subject matter of the arbitral proceedings. Hence, for invoking the jurisdiction of the court under Section 9, the person should be a party to an arbitration agreement. Lastly, let me summarize two other important reports. The MP High Court decided a petition which was in reference under Section 15 subsection 2 of the Contempt of Courts Act and directed an advocate to plant and take care of 20 saplings as punishment for contempt of a female judge after unconditional apology. The court said that the learned judge was a female judge and it was expected from the bar members that they will appreciate the multitasking performed by a lady judge while taking care of her home, family as well as work front, and therefore more thoughtfulness and sensitivity is required in this regard. Read the full report on SEC Online blog. The Kerala High Court acquitted the father accused of raping his own minor daughter, considering the contention that the allegation was raised due to instigation by the stepmother, observing discrepancies in statements of victim and her stepmother and failure to prove age of the victim by the prosecution. The court remarked that, forensic and semantics apart, the child molestation is a shame on society. But if allegations are false, it is lethal to the life of the accused, more so if the accused is the parent, even if he is eventually acquitted. Now let's start with the legislation updates. The President has promulgated Delhi Special Police Establishment Amendment Ordinance 2021 and Central Vigilance Commission Amendment Ordinance 2021 to extend tenure of Director of CBI and Enforcement Directorate up to 5 years. The Reserve Bank has directed deposit-taking NBFCs with 10 or more branches and non-deposit taking NBFCs with asset size of rupees 5,000 crore and above having public customer interface to appoint internal ombudsman at the apex of their internal grievance redress mechanism within a period of 6 months from the date of issue of the direction. The International Financial Services Centres Authority has notified that the authority does not mandate any minimum holding period requirement with respect to sale or transfer of loan assets by or to IFSCA banking unit. The Labour Department Delhi has issued Delhi Shops and Establishments Amendment Rules 2021 to further amend the Delhi Shops and Establishment Rules 1954. Read the complete details on SEC online blog. Now the most awaited part of this video. In this week's SEC online quiz, we had asked how many points of law have been extracted for Kesav Nanda Bharati and Golak Nath cases. The correct answer are Kesav Nanda Bharati 151 and for Golak Nath 120. And the winners of this week's quiz are Tanishq Agrawal and Pulkit Agrawal. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you so much for watching this video and we will be back with the next one soon. This is Devika Sharma signing off for this week.